Overall, well played. Okay. If Zeta was an ice cream flavor, what would he be? Sure. I'm not sure. It's a difficult one. Maybe a very like a very like a lemon sorbet. Very sharp. Can be very nice, but could also be a little bit sharp at times. A little bit too much at times, maybe. Will you call the video Pharah and throwing? I might. Although it's not really throwing because the team wins, basically. Although the enemy team, like, clearly the enemy team are having similar issues. Like, that's the astounding part to me. It's like both of these teams could have won. It wasn't a disaster on either side, and yet, like, this happened. How did this happen? Do you think Pharah's damage should be nerfed? I think direct hit doing 120 is a bit too much. Maybe 100 for the direct hit. You've got to understand that Pharah's direct hits are difficult. Pharah is actually a very difficult character to direct hit, and her drop-off is insane in terms of, like, the splash. The, like, it's kind of crazy how much it drops off. Actually, what I can do is load into Overwatch, and we'll still take questions, don't worry. I just kind of want to show how crazy the drop-off is. Because to me, it's stunning in terms of how much it's been nerfed down since the beta. Overwatch should be loaded. I'll come back to you in a second. Twitch chat. Training. Practice range. It's just kind of worth seeing this as a demonstration. Pharah.
I will protect
So,
the innocent.
Direct hits. 120 damage. It's pretty sizable. But you can see, like, if I hit here... Okay, that was technically a direct because the hitboxes are huge. That was about, what, 50 damage? No, let's get rid of that one. That was relatively nearby, and that's about, seeing as each chunk is 25, that's about 60 damage. So it's about half the drop-off. For a miss, it's about a meter, if that. Like, considering the hitbox on these things, you know, if I put it here, that's like 25 damage. And if you're considering that a lot of Pharah's engagements are happening at about this distance, and the targets are often moving, like, landing direct hits is a little bit of guesswork. So a lot of your hits are going to be nearby, and it takes like 4 rockets on a target that isn't being healed and isn't actually moving. This is why you'll see Valkyr, for example. The way Valkyr moves is he'll literally like rocket in and just literally drop on top to minimize the distance and just land the direct hit. So even if he's not, like, if I just sort of drop on a target, he's landing hits that are at the very least close enough to where they will be able to get kills in 2 or 3 rockets rather than 4, 5, 6. The splash really drops off fast though. Like, you can see how rapidly it is, or how far it is. Spawn. Spawn! Yeah, 50 damage. 5 rockets for a distance of probably about a meter. That's kind of insane. That's kind of huge. For a rocket launcher with a relatively slow projectile, it's tricky. It's tricky. So I think Pharah should definitely be, like, rewarded for doing directs. And what the high direct damage does with rapid drop-off, if you think about it in terms of, like, design and mechanics, is it heavily incentivizes going for direct hits. Because if the drop-off is large enough to where if you aren't hitting direct, you aren't doing major sources of damage. Like, you're doing about 60 to 70 damage if you're landing nearby. Considering it's a projectile, counter that with McCree, for example, who has hit scan that deals 70 damage at closest range. Pharah is dealing 70 damage maybe with a projectile at medium range because, you know, people are moving, and so landing these hits is a little bit trickier. So incentivizing getting these direct hits and getting the projection right is important. And also, like, one thing I would say the developers have done very well with Pharah is getting the feel of Pharah very well. Like, during the beta, they've changed how the rockets landed, how the sound is of the bass. That noise is so satisfying. It's so satisfying when you hear that noise and you see the great big X in the middle. Like, it's such a satisfying, good feeling. You want that to be a good feeling. You want that to feel weighted like a big smack on the enemy team. It feels good. It feels good, and it should be heavily incentivized, and that's kind of what they're going for with that. Okay, let's continue on questions. As a Zenyatta player, should I be focusing on Pharah? Discord seems to freak her out, but I find it really hard to hit with my primary and secondary fire. Yes, you should be discording her. So I can sort of show it here quite nicely. Like, this is a good example of good vertical cover. Like, we have a lot of space here, so the idea is with Pharah is that we pop out, we fire a rocket or two, and we pop back in. And we're feeling pretty safe. Pop out, rocket or two, and if we start taking damage, like I'm on 130 hit points, so if I drop under 100, like if I for some reason do that, I'm under 100, I'm thinking, oh shit. Well, I'm not going to do that, but you get the idea that I'm just going to probably retreat. Zenyatta reduces the amount of time that takes. Kind of a simple concept, right? When you break it down into these simple components, it suddenly starts making a lot of sense. Suddenly, I have, you know, I lose a third of my hit points with Discord Orb on me, so I technically have like 160 hit points. 166 hit points, I think, to be exact. Maybe. I'm not sure. Ish. Whatever. 160-ish. So suddenly, I can only take 60 damage, which isn't that much. Suddenly, I'm at this point now, and I have to hide, and have to regroup. That's what it does to the Pharah. You can't keep the Discord Orb on her, but you can make it hard for her. And what you can start doing then is... Like, if I pick the Zenyatta, grab Zen. And let's say Pharah is hiding around this corner here. If I'm just spamming at this corner... If she eats one of those, she has to retreat. So she can't do anything. So yeah, you should like be discording and then just spamming a bit, and then if you see a target you can shoot, you'd spam, and then Pharah comes back, oh, I'm just going to make life hard for her. Make her evade, make her scared, because then if she's taking a discord hit plus a physical hit, she has to hide. It's like you can see how quickly Zenyatta can kill shit, right? It's a good chunk of damage there. It's like 40 damage. Again, it's just putting pressure on making sure that she can't get out spam her rockets, because Pharah is a lot like Widowmaker, in that Pharah has space to think about her rockets and start spamming them. She will kill things very quickly. Okay. What ice cream flavor with a dress plus wig own be? Something terrifying and disgusting. Something foul. What do you do when someone throws a metro at the beginning just because someone picks Junkrat? Report them. Like picking... Okay, guys. Like, this is a PSA, and I'm pretty sure you guys probably don't do this. Hopefully, you guys don't do this. If you do this, stop it. If someone picks a hero you pick you don't like, or you don't think is meta, and you throw the game. You can't report... And also, if you report them for, like, picking Junkrat and tending to play it earnestly at the start of the game... The reality is this. You can't report people for being bad. You can report people for trolling. You can report people for... like, you know, picking stuff with the intention that, you know, this will never ever work. So you are running a very long range comp that intends to advance slowly behind a Reinhardt barrier, and someone picks Symmetra and is just like fucking around, not doing much, and is actively hostile. Report them for that. If they are earnestly picking Symmetra and saying, yeah, I think Symmetra is the best pick for this, unfortunately, reporting them is not going to do much unless you can actively detect hostility on their behalf. But the sad reality is this. You can't report people for being bad. So if someone's picked Junkrat and it's clearly not a meta pick, I've seen Junkrats work in ladder. Like, there is someone called Pro Like Crow who plays nothing but Junkrat and is in fucking top 500, I'm pretty goddamn sure. Like, Junkrat can work, he is viable, he does do damage, and especially if you're not at the very highest of highest levels, Junkrat's actually capable of doing a lot of good. So, yeah, report him. Have you considered putting your hair in a twisted top knot bun? Unfortunately, this wig probably wouldn't allow it. Any tips for avoiding tilt? I've always been the kind of person to get angry easily, and it's kind of a problem for me. I'm having trouble improving because of it. It is very difficult. Okay, the way that I do it is pretty simple. You play more. You don't play more immediately after you tilt, but you play more and more games. So you realize that the times that you are angry, like, are being outweighed by the games that are just relatively normal. So, you kind of realize that there's no point in being angry at a game that will be over, and then you'll just move on to the next game and have probably a relatively normal game. There's no point to it. Also, you got to understand that it is fine to be frustrated and angry. It is when you bring that into the game and you start, you know, going on voice saying, oh, you guys are all fucking really stupid, what the fuck you... Like, then you are literally just... You're going to your, you know, if your team was a boat, you were going to the hull and just like jabbing holes in it intentionally. You were just stabbing it. You are, and every act of hostility just impacts the entire team negatively. No one wants to play in that game anymore. No one's having fun anymore. And that's the point of why we play Overwatch. We play Overwatch to have fun. So just find ways to, I don't know, find your calm, focus on your own play, go introspective. Because you'll be more frustrated at what other people are doing more so than what yourself is doing. If you are frustrated at your own play, then try playing different things and just try, you know, go for a few games of quick play, try and relax, try and find things that are fun again, and the reasons why you play this game, and Stick with that. It's why I've sort of taken to, with Ryan being grumpy lately, I've sort of told him playing Zarya is perfectly fine. Get off Reinhardt, get out of your own head, and just enjoy the game. Find things that you find fun again. Make it work. What's the ideal positioning for Pharah? Will you do a spin in that Marvelous dress? I've already done a spin in that Marvelous dress. I'll actually just stand up briefly before answering this next question, though. Yes. It's as terrible as you'd imagine, because my body is like a formless blob that's sort of crammed into this. Also, a quick tip, the video is less muddy if you disable resample when cropping. Also, the video is less muddy when I'm on my proper bitrate. Also, the VOD that we were recording from was very muddy, unfortunately. It's just a nature. Some of them aren't going to be great quality. I'll take a look at those settings anyway, Tridenix. So the ideal positioning for Pharah is very strong at mid-range, but she's better at confirming kills at close range. This, basically, I literally take this purely from the school of Valkyr, which is, let's say we want to kill that spinny doodle over there, okay? That spinny doodle is our target. What we can, what you don't want to be doing is, we want to kill that. We don't want to be just standing here spamming at it. Because as I've said before, at medium range, it's very hard to actually land the rockets. The target could just move and evade and just do whatever they want. What we want to be doing is getting in, closing that gap, and then just dive bombing them. And you'll see Valk do this all the time. How Valkyr moves is very, very cool. In terms of he uses Conk Blast, rockets forward, uses the momentum from that, and then will jump up afterwards. It's very rarely he will jet first. He'll always Conk Blast first, and then he will jet afterwards to get the verticality, sort of dropping down onto people. So he will close distance with Conk, then jump up and just sort of drop on people. Because it's actually very hard to react to a threat that is literally like right above you, and Pharah has all the advantages you can imagine when she is literally just staring straight down at people. Like, you have nothing but strength here, especially if someone is like in the middle of a field. You are nothing but strong when you're above them, because it's just like them standing next to a wall, right? Instead of a wall, it's just the floor. So no matter where you shoot, you're still doing damage. So the ideal position for Pharah is above people. The hard part is when trying to get there and trying to do that survivor play. So you engage from the mid-range, you find cover, and then you get people low, or you find a target is isolated and vulnerable, and then you, as quickly as possible, Conk Blast, go in, jump up, and drop down onto them. And you get the kill off the back of that. How long, in your opinion, do you engage someone who's trying to force poor gameplay? For example, I had a game where Genji got really toxic because I was calling to back up when our team kept trying to defend at spawn. He thought it was good. The team game, you got to acknowledge the fact, and it sounds weird for me to say this because I give coaching, right? I'm telling you guys how to play and how to do things. But whenever someone offers a different opinion, I will stop and go, okay, maybe he thinks that way, and if that Genji thinks, oh, it is perfectly fine to defend from this position, you say, hey, you think that the rest of us are just going to retreat and hold further back. Like, that's what we're going to do, so yeah. If they are just stubbornly saying no, then it's no longer a discussion. So you just stop engaging them. Like, if they say, no, I think we're going to do this, it's like, well, I disagree, so I'm going to stay back here. Especially if it's like such a stupid decision, like, holding right in front of the enemy spawn. Like, holding right in front of the enemy spawn is very, very, very rarely worth it. It's just a good way of throwing at the game. So I'd say, like, that decision you can be confident of, like, backing up. If it's a decision like, I don't think we should Nano Blade, or I don't think we should use Nano Boost with this combo or whatever, then that's a different discussion entirely, where it's like, I think we need this, so it's like, okay, fine, let's do it safely and let's do it your way, and just follow the safer play in those cases. When using Death from above, Pharah is fragile like a dove. Should you kill its skin first, or should you try some healer tank bursting? Get rid of threats that can get rid of you, although, like, it depends on the target you're going for. So, for example, trying to dive bomb Mercies is very hard because the Mercy will often get away, so you often need something else to follow up on the Mercy. Anna is something that you can try and dive bomb, but you definitely want to be making sure that, like, when you are diving, what threats can stop you from doing it? How long will it take you to kill the target? Because you don't want to be doing this and then having, like, Widowmaker just, like, staring at you. If Widowmaker's just staring at you and just, like, gets the easiest 2 shots of her life on you, that feels really dumb. So you should be getting rid of the Widowmaker first. If the enemy supports are in a location where Widowmaker can't cover, though, then go for it. By all means, you'll be able to get the kills, no problem. So sort of understanding the threats and acknowledging that this is a threat that I will not be able to survive for very long, but yeah. It also depends on what you're trying to set up. So if you're like trying to set up for a barrage, then you probably want to get rid of like Widowmaker first or Anna very quickly, or you want to make sure that the Anna or Widow is caught in the barrage. And always remember,
Justice reigns from above.
just slow dropping for barrages. Don't fire any rockets. Come in silent, stealth mode. Remember, every time you use the rocket, you're making noises. So don't use rockets when you're coming in for a barrage. Not really a question to do with this UTM, but I was wondering why so many people are playing so much Winston these days. I mean, for about 2-3 months, you're lucky to see one competitive. Now it seems to be one every match. So Winston is coming in because dive comp is popular. Basically, Winston was really shit against tank comp. Like, Winston can't beat Roadhog, can't beat Zarya, can't beat Reinhardt. Why would you run Winston into those? Those are like the 3 most popular heroes. Can't beat D.Va. D.Va just mauls in with like 400 armor back when she had that. So Winston can't DPS D.Va. Winston therefore won't be played. Now that we're seeing Genji, Tracer, all that kind of stuff, yeah, we're just gonna dive it. Yeah, you just dive in and kill those, and Winston suddenly works. How long does Hair and Sequence alter your Pharah play? I'm guessing that. Hair and Sequence alters all of my play, apparently. It's actually very distracting. Like, you can see me constantly playing with this hair, and as well, I think I might have something in my eye. Frustrating, but hey. Do you think Jara will also get the no damage to herself buff Junkrat got? No. The reason is simple. Junkrat is a land-ridden animal. As such, he is often forced into positions where he is sort of stuck in a closed environment. Pharah, however, can fly. So the amount of times Pharah is stuck in a close-range environment and actually damaging herself is pretty limited. Like, you're often making a conscious decision to be near the target you are going for when you're playing Pharah. You're often making a choice of, I have positioned myself here. Like, Pharah has a lot of initiative in terms of where she can put herself relative to her environment. Junkrat doesn't have that. So as Pharah, it's often your decision to be that near stuff. Junkrat often isn't that his decision. Often stuff has just got near him, and so he has to deal with that. As someone else, what's my favorite skin for Pharah? Actually, Mecha Queen is pretty good. I do like the Anubis skins though. I think I prefer the black one, but the white one is rarer. So I do like the Anubis skins. Pharah is one of my least played heroes, just because like Pharah, the issue I have with Pharah is that a lot of skills with Pharah don't carry over to other heroes, and I also know Valkyria. So it's like, why would I be a Pharah main? Like, to get good, really good with Pharah would involve being a Pharah main, and as such, why would I sort of do something that he's already doing? I do like Pharah, I like projectiles. My Soldier 76 Helix rockets are fucking impeccable, if I do say so myself. I am very good at projectile DPS. I've always had a very good mind for it, and I say my rockets are pretty much always spot on. But I would rather put that to work playing Soldier than I would playing Pharah, if that makes sense. So yeah. When I play Hitscan, I honestly don't understand how people say they counter Pharah. I'm having difficulty hitting her. What am I doing wrong? I don't think I'm worse than my tier and a pressure tank flank as well. It's actually a common misconception. It's a common misconception that playing Soldier 76 deletes Pharah from the game. The thing with Pharah is that she has 200 hit points, and Soldier at medium range, let's take this target over here. Was that already hurt? Let's take this one. So if I, like, you know, pretend that this target's Pharah, this is considerably larger and easier to hit than Pharah, so I've landed it. Actually, that's already hurt as well. Get rid of that one, let's get a fresh bot. So I land a shot, 20 damage. 20 damage, 20 damage. And like the ranges that you're engaging Pharah at are often about this distance. And you're often just landing a hit or two. Notice how much time this is taking? Notice how long that takes? And even if I just like drill this guy, notice how long that takes. That was a good couple, like 2-3 seconds. And this hitbox is bigger than Pharah's. So at this kind of distance, the Pharah has tons of time to get back into cover. Tons and tons of time to get back into cover. And this is why, like, Soldier just doesn't delete Pharah's. Soldier can punish a Pharah. Like, let's say Pharah's flying out in this big environment out here. Like, we can punish that Pharah. We can just consistently land our shots and just shell him down, no problem. And get the Pharah before she can get into cover. But if Pharah's playing intelligently and playing around cover like this wall here, and is just duking in and out, we fire a couple of shots, she takes 150 damage, and then she just hides and heals up and goes, finds a health pack, and comes back from a different angle. And during all that time, you can't expect, and this to me is like the most frustrating thing, you can't expect this whole 76 to just go, well, I've done my job, Pharah's away, I'm going to put my hands behind, actually I'm not going to do that because I'm going to show off my armpits, I'm just going to twiddle my thumbs and not do anything until Pharah reappears, and then I'll focus shooting the Pharah again. Because during all that time, the enemy team pushes in and kills the shit out of you. So you want to be shooting other things, you want to be, oh, I've killed that, oh, I'm killing all this on the ground, and oh no, Pharah's over here, now I've got to deal with that, oh no, Pharah's retreated, okay, I'm going to come back to dealing with these threats. I'm going to come back to killing all this stuff. And I need to deal with that, oh no, Pharah's over here again. And this is why I tell supports who get frustrated, the best thing you can do is call out where you see her. So then if I am like, oh, I'm finding all these guys, I'm finding these guys, oh, Pharah coming in right side, okay, I'm going to turn and deal with that. Because now she's out in the open, now I can deal with her. Now I can shoot her. Oh, Pharah coming in left side, okay, I'm going to turn and try and deal with that. And try and deal with the Pharah. The worst thing is the supports that just expect soldiers to just go, well, my job's done, I'm just going to wait. Because that will lose you the game, because you are not doing damage that you could be doing and not realising the fullest potential of the hero and fighting other targets at medium range other than just the one assigned hero that you need to be countering. Ugh. I've seen Valkyrie dive and kill 2 or so targets, but knowing he almost likely get killed. How many kills is worth a suicide run, whereas Valkyrie's death run's a bad idea. So, suicide runs can be worth it. And the thing with Pharah is, like, you might think it's impossible to get out of those situations. Let's take these 2 targets, right? So, we've come in, we've seen, oh, there's 2 targets here, I'm going to go for a death run, okay? And you're rocketing them down, and you get one, you get the second, but the other targets are coming for you. Well, we have fucking jump jets. We can still get out of a lot of situations that other heroes might not be able to. We can still do things with verticality, and still maybe duke out. We can maybe survive long enough with our 2 kills to where our cooldowns come back up, and we can create an incredible amount of space incredibly quickly if our cooldowns come back up. We can really, really make space fast. So, if we can do this properly and do this efficiently, we're going for the 2 targets over there. We're gonna rocket in, go up, firing rockets, get 1, get 2, and honestly, like, I killed a lot of momentum there. Then, like, the enemy team's coming back for us, well, we just try and pull them away, and hopefully the rest of our team is going to be doing its job. And honestly, if you trade 2 for 1, it's probably worth it. Especially if it's their supports, which, you know, oftentimes, like, Valk will get rid of the Anna and something else. That's worth it. That's absolutely worth it. Big problem with I have a big problem with Pharah in that I find myself holding her ultimate too much and not using it at a good time. It's so risky to use sometimes that I find it better to use normal rockets most of the time because it can be so risky. Yeah, barrage timing is one of those things that is always going to be hard, and like I'd say your judgment probably might be better than mine on it, to be honest. I'd just say that if you can get 2 kills with it, get 2 kills with it. So let's take these 2 guys again, and if you die after it, you still kill 2 people on their team. The only exception, I'd say the only exception is if there's something like a Graviton Surge coming up, you know, something you can really combo with, or an Earth Shatter as well. You should be comboing with that as much as possible. What I'd also recommend is talking to your Zarya, even if she doesn't have Grav, just say, I'm looking for a barrage, can you save a shield for me? Because if she puts a barrier on you, it makes you, like, you're not going to get slap darted, you're not going to get CC'd, you're not going to get headshot by a Widowmaker, you're probably going to get the full barrage out. No fucking problem. So I'd say, like, finding ways to use it. The problem that you had in the last game wasn't that you were holding it, it was that you completely changed your playstyle while holding it. So you was just sort of, you know, there was like a Widowmaker around the corner, and you just sort of stood there hoping that this Anna was going to give you a nano boost, and then you were probably going to engage and do something. Well, if you just engaged and did something, you would have probably had no issues. Is what I would say. How to deal with, I don't like your pick of X, therefore I won't support you. If you're doing a good job and it's appropriate for the situation. Just call a person an arsehole, especially if you're doing your job and functioning. It's just like, well, this is working, so why not use it? And if they say, like, oh, but Captain Planet OW's meta reports say this. I've talked to Captain Planet a couple of times, and he totally agrees that his reports are completely fucking irrelevant for 99.9% of ladder play, and should not be used as a reference for what works and what doesn't. Especially across every single level, it should only apply to probably the top 500, and even then it's pretty limited. I don't like your pick of X, and therefore I won't support you. You do you. If they come up with a good argument of like, oh yeah, this hero isn't really good on this map, could you please change? Then it's up to you. But they have to understand that in asking you of like, can you please change, you have the right to say no. And that's an important thing. And that's the same true when you ask someone, if you ask the guy who's picked Hanzo at the start of the game, and you don't like playing with Hanzo because he's a filthy fucking Hanzo main, and you say, Hanzo, could you please change? And he says, no, you just gotta go, fair enough. He said no, I asked, I did what I could. And he says no, and it's like, okay, let's see what you can do. Like, what I generally say to people is, I believe in you. Like, and this might sound like half joking, half patronizing, but you'd be surprised how much it lightens people up. If you just get into the mentality of accepting that, oh, this guy's insta-locked Hanzo, he might have done it for a reason. You know, he might have had good experiences playing Hanzo, insta-locking them and getting a lot of kills. So it's like, yeah, sure, I believe in you. And then if it doesn't work, you say, dude, this isn't working, could you try changing? Like, you're just getting, like, the Winston's just jumping on you, and they're just shutting you down every time. Could you change? And he'd probably be going, yeah, it doesn't seem to be working. And if you start if you start the relationship between you and that person off on a positive step, they'll be way more willing to say, oh, yeah, sure, okay. Way more willing. Way more willing. Ugh. Most of the time when I use their art, I just suicide on the supports. I accept my death, yeah. It's a good trade. Do you think the report system should include, oh god, he's wearing a sequin dress and a ginger wig and it's scaring the children? No, because most people I play with can't see what I'm wearing. Thankfully, a huge advantage. The wig is bothering Josh? Yes, it is. Like, it's this bit of hair here. Like, honestly, if I should just get some scissors and cut it off. Just this strand. I think if we get rid of that, it would work way better. I have a very weird problem. I tilt more in quick play than competitive. Is that normal? It means that you care too much about winning in quick play. To quote the song,
Justice reigns from above.
not justice reigns from above, let it go. Let it go. Can't bother you anymore. Yeah, let it go. Like, I've tilted, like, and I will admit it, I've tilted playing mystery heroes, where people just didn't feel like they were even playing the heroes that they were getting dealt. And as such, it was kind of stupid. It's like, what, you know, you're playing mystery heroes, and you're not playing the game at all. Like, it's more fun when everyone just plays and puts a bit of effort in. But if you've joined a team and you have like Widowmaker, Hanzo, Anna, Genji, Tracer, and whatever, just embrace it and just say, okay, let's see if we can make this work somehow. The last thing you want to do is see a team lineup like that where everyone is clearly just playing for themselves and go, I'm going to pick Lucio, and then try and corral the 5 other people that are just doing whatever the fuck into an actual team lineup. Oh guys, now I'm playing Lucio, well let's try and get this team together. If you do pick Lucio in that, you've got to understand that they're not going to be too interested in listening to shot calling, they're not looking to make an optimal team, and so just play according to that. Like, don't play according to what you would expect in competitive. So yeah, the advice I would give is let it go. Understand that there will be games where, in quick play, where the team just doesn't give a shit. And it happens quite often. Oop, that was not where I wanted to go. Interesting. Okay. What's your opinion on people whose teammates left the comp game and refuse to leave by making people play 6 versus 1? It's just kind of irritating. Like, that person is being a bit of a douche, but whatever. The idea is then is you just try and win as fast as possible. Try and win. Like, it sucks, but it sucks for them, so they're frustrated. And you just got to sort of understand that they are frustrated and trying to take out their frustration on you guys. You don't deserve it, but whatever. You've just got to deal with it. I'm guessing this is when I did the spin. Or when I stood up. In the lower ladder, when people try to go 4 DPS and I'm healing, I just say Overwatch chat, can we please get a second healer? It usually works after a couple. Yes. Like, you'd be surprised. Can we just get another healer? There we go. It's kicked me out because I was AFK. Any tips for drills to improve aim with someone without past FPS experience? With Pharah, drills are kind of difficult. Find custom games that might be emphasizing Pharah play. Otherwise, just play her a lot in quick play and just try and get used to it as much as you can. I'd say that's a very good way of doing it. Quick play Pharah is perfectly fine. So yeah, just try and do that. Good way I found to avoid tilting is to take the mindset that I will carry these scrubs and then laugh at myself when I fail. I find myself having fun when winning and laughing. The match is obviously going pear-shaped. Let me make slow gradual progress and be less stressed. Yes, that's also a good way of doing it. You'll sometimes hear me do this, actually. You'll sometimes hear me say, like, I will fucking do this myself. Like, you know, I'll be playing Anna and I'll get like 2 kills. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna do this myself. It's me sort of having fun with myself. And I usually might say it to the team. I might say it to like Ryan or someone if he's with me or I'll missed. If they're with me, it's like, yeah, I'll fucking kill them myself, whatever. But it's just me having fun with the game and finding ways to have fun even in a losing situation. I don't like losing. I really don't like losing. I don't like losing in front of people as well, but I'll run with it. Let's see. How many kills in general should Pharah ult get? 2, 3 tops. You either get like 2 or 3 and you'll be killed in the process, or you will get all 6 or 5 and then hunt someone down afterwards because you've just done combos. Pharah can build. The thing with Pharah is this: a good Pharah, like people will compare it, and I've seen like, you know, like if you try and think of it in terms of like, oh, let's compare the hero ults, right? Let's look at the assault heroes. Like Genji's ult, Genji generally gets like 3 or 4 kills. Soldier generally gets 3 or 4 kills. Reaper generally gets 3 or 4 kills. Like these are huge ultimates. Reaper might struggle a bit more, but he still gets a lot of kills whenever he uses that big DPS ult of his. Pharah getting 2 or 3, that seems a bit low. That seems a bit strange. The reason why Pharah gets 2 or 3 is pretty simple. It's because Pharah can build her ultimate way faster than Genji can. Way faster than Genji can. Genji takes fucking ages to build an ultimate. Because Genji's damage output overall is a lot lower than Pharah's is. Unless he gets like a really good deflect, in which case, yeah. But if you remember, like 3 Genji shurikens is what, like 90 damage? And Pharah's 1 Pharah rocket is 120 if it lands. And I think Pharah just requires a little bit less than Genji to build up an ultimate anyway. And you'll see players like Valkyria, one of their strengths is they build ultimate on top, like they'll have barrage every 2 fights. Because they'll spend 1 fight building the barrage, the next fight they'll use it, clean up, kill everything, and then move on. Just watch how regularly he has barrage. It's like watching a good Hanzo play, they'll have dragons constantly. For people sending in footage. Oh, okay. Yeah. It's like, I'm going to get variable quality anyway on the videos being sent in. So I'm kind of used to it. What do you do when all of your team wants to defend right in front of the enemy spawn? I generally just sit back and say, guys, this is a really good way to throw the game. So we should pull back a bit. And because I'm usually playing like the Ana, people will usually just come back to me for healing. If your team is good enough to stomp that hard, then you could try and do it. But just remind your team, guys, this is a really good way to throw. We should consider just pulling back a little bit. You just use 1 rocket and barrage down to burst, so it's 320. I'm not as keen as throwing the rocket in. This is mostly just me watching Valk, but Valk will usually just going completely engine silent. It's just giving the enemy as little time as possible to react to the sudden burst. Like the first wave of barrage rockets to hit will be enough to easily put a 200 hit point hero in like very, very, very low hit points. And so if the first thing they know is that you've been hit by the first wave of barrage rockets, the second wave of barrage rockets will usually get them and kill them. That's important for stuff like Ana, especially, who can shut you down. Widowmaker, Genji, who could react with a deflect. Like, it's important to shut those guys down ASAP. And so it's like the difference between them reacting to like the first wave of rockets or the second wave of rockets or the third wave of rockets. And the less people who can react to the first and second wave, the better. That's how I kind of think of it, at least. But trust in your instincts. Like, if there's nothing that can stop you doing the damage, you might be fine just slamming the rocket in and then barraging immediately after before it even lands, and in which case, it feels good. On PS5, longer as far as if I play versus sniper, use vertical cover. Diving Widowmaker, like if you, and like even on maps like Gibraltar, if you just dive on top of Widow, it is very, very difficult for Widowmaker to stop you. Like, she is very, very bad when targets are launching down vertically at her. It's hard to get the headshot, and she has to land 2 body shots. You have to land 2 rockets back on her. You can probably land 2 rockets faster than she can land 2 full body shots. You most definitely can do that faster if you are engaging her on even footing. So if they have a sniper, stay out of line of sight and then engage hard on the sniper. Get rid of the sniper, you have free space, and then you can just go and reposition a. Let's see. We'll do 1 or 2 more questions because we've been doing questions for a long time now. My clock is actually very different than... Wow, yeah, I've been doing questions for a long time. Been going slow through these. So we'll finish up with these last couple of questions. What should I do when a person leaves comp match, solo healer tank? Should I switch? If he's left a comp match and he's solo healer tank, you've basically lost anyway. Like 5 versus 6, if the teams are relatively even, you will lose every time. You should probably try and swap to the tank or healer. Yes, someone should at least, like, instantly forfeiting is worse than, is a guaranteed loss. 5 versus 6 isn't guaranteed, but it's very high percentage chance of loss. So you should probably just swap and try and fight it out, but it'll become very clear very quickly whether or not you can actually do it. Is it better to think of hit scans as the most effective ways to engage Pharah rather than a hard counter, which seems to be the common belief? That sounds about right, yeah. They can engage her at medium range, but just there's a belief that somehow Soldier just deletes Pharah, and it's just stupid. How do I deal with a good pharmacy combo? I think this will be the last question. They say that you kill the Mercy, then kill the Pharah. However, it's easier said than done. When I try and kill the Mercy, the Pharah has killed me most of the time. It depends on the engagement range. The question, okay, so the thing is this, okay? The Mercy will usually be a lot more cagey and a lot more sort of, you know, Mercy's like a scared bird. She's like, oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god, what's happening, what's happening? And she'll reposition the second she starts taking damage. She'll be repositioning. She'll be trying to get out of that fight as soon as she can. Pharah is more willing to engage because she can fight back and she has Mercy healing her. So as long as Pharah's not taking huge amounts of DPS, like you have to out DPS Mercy's healing, which is about 50 heal per second. So yeah, it's kind of difficult. So this is the thing with the shooting the Pharah, is that unless you can finish the Pharah off very quickly, like we saw in Zeta's video, there was a moment where he just sort of annihilated the Pharah towards one of these last assaults. And I was sort of humming and hawing about it, but he was close enough to the Pharah to be able to out DPS Pharah's out DPS the Mercy healing. I think it was around here somewhere, I think.
Make sure we catch some else.
It's pretty early. I think it was a push before this one. But he was close enough to be able to burst the Pharah. Pharah is easier to burst, but you can pick Mercy off slower because you can't. You cannot slow burn the enemy Pharah. Like you can't just do 20 damage, 20 damage, 20 damage, 20 damage, 20 damage, 20 damage. You have to burst her. If you aren't bursting her, then it's pointless. Okay, I can't find it quickly. So the decision is then, okay, can I just annihilate the Mercy? Okay, annihilate the Mercy. Can I then pick up the Pharah? If I can't burst the Pharah, then I should be focusing my DPS on the Mercy. That forces the Mercy away from the Pharah, and that means you can then change targets maybe. Or they will both retreat together, in which case, okay, fine. Or just try and survive until they get close to you. Fuck off the back of that. Okay then, I think that is it. Plus, my door is just opened for no reason at all as well. I'm going to be outside. So I will close Coaching the Mini now. And yeah. Okay guys, I'm going to take a quick break to go and close my door while I talk to myself. Now very self-conscious for some. But it's been a blast. Thank you, Zeta, for sending it in. Thank you, everyone, for asking tons and tons of questions. If you do want to send in footage, the instructions are here. So send them into OneAmongstMany@gmail.com. Send them right there. Ghost. Yes, apparently there's a ghost in the house. And I'm sat here wearing this fucking nonsense. And yeah, so it's OAMreviews@gmail.com. Put in the hero name and the rank and the title and send it into that account. Have a YouTube video just like you saw here, and yeah, do all that stuff. Sombra the door, exactly. Okay, guys, thank you for watching to the end. If you're watching this on YouTube, definitely come by and watch it live 10 o'clock Friday and Saturday. It's great. Love to have you. Doodles. Right, I'm going to go close this